Islam is in fact not the truth, and I'm an atheist and not a Christian for clarification.
Okay, I'm listening.
I'm only about halfway through the 4th chapter, and there's already a death threat almost every other page.
That will be false, because the Quran also says, "Let there be no compulsion in religion, for the truth stands out clearly from falsehood. So whoever renounces false gods and believes in Allah has certainly grasped the firmest, unfailing handhold, and Allah is all-hearing, all-knowing." That being said, yes, there are some verses about fighting the disbelievers, but only those specifically who were persecuting the Muslims. Here is proof. So if they refrain from fighting you and offer you peace, then Allah does not permit you to harm them. We have to understand the context and the background, keeping in mind that these verses about fighting were revealed at a time when there was no other choice.
Keep in mind as I flip through this that each orange highlight is a death threat, and the Quran is the correct way, and if you don't believe that, you're gonna burn or be tortured or be killed or something.
This is again false. I would like to know which Quran verse says you will be killed if you don't believe in Quran. I don't understand why you will make up lies about Islam, because there's not even a single verse that says you will be killed if you don't accept the Quran. Instead, it says, "And when you see those who engage in offensive discourse concerning our verses," meaning the Quran, "then turn away from them until they enter into another conversation. And if Satan should cause you to forget, then do not remain after the reminder with the wrongdoing people." So the Quran actually teaches us to just leave the people making fun of Quran alone. Nowhere does it ever say that you have to believe in it, otherwise we will kill you or anything.
Or some sort of threat of eternal hellfire, something about you're gonna burn if you don't believe, you're gonna have some sort of severe punishment if you don't believe. That's what we call fear-mongering, where you just tell a lie over and over and say that if you don't believe the lie, that something's bad's gonna happen to you. Or just something bad will happen in general.
How does the Quran warning about hell prove Islam is false? To say that Islam is a false religion because Quran often warns about the consequences of rejecting the Quran, it means it's fake. This does not directly prove or disprove Islam, to be honest. This is completely subjective opinion. Islam has tons and tons of physical evidence. To reject out of that because of something you personally dislike is illogical.
Not to mention, each purple one, which is looks very similar to the pink ones, scientific inaccuracies, it's insane. Surah 2:164 says that Allah has sent rains down from the skies. However, we know what the water cycle is.
Now this person mentions the water cycle and says that in Islam, rain just comes from the sky, which is of course disproved by science. We know the water cycle that water does not directly come from the sky, rather the source actually comes from earth. This is how clouds form according to Center for Science Education. The water and ice that make up clouds travels into the sky within air as water vapor, the gas form of water. Water vapor gets into the air mainly by evaporation. Some of the liquid water from the ocean, lakes, and rivers turns into water vapor and travels in the air. Some clouds, such as lenticular and stratus clouds, form when wind blows into the slide of a mountain range or other terrain and is forced upward, higher in the atmosphere. This process can also happen without a dramatic mountain range, just when air travels over the land that slopes upward and is forced to rise. The air cools as it rises, and eventually clouds form. Other types of clouds, such as cumulus clouds, can also be formed above mountains too, as air is warmed at the ground and rises. However, if they read the Quran furthermore, they'd realize that Quran actually never contradicted the modern explanation for rain. Rather, the modern explanation only confirms the Quran statement. It is Allah who sends the winds, and they raise the clouds. Then does He spread them in the sky as He wills, and breaks them into fragments, until you see raindrops issue from the midst thereof. Then when He has made them reach such of His servants as He wills, behold, they rejoice. So yes, rain does come from the sky, but before that, Allah sends winds which raise the clouds. I also don't understand why this person made up another lie that the verse says Allah sends winds from the skies, when it's clearly not plural. The Quran verse says as-sama, not as-samawat. When it says as-sama, it simply means sky. When it says as-samawat, then it means skies or heavens.